Yali everyone. Thank you for joining us for the part 2 of our webinar series about reading. This webinar is entitled Supporting Children's Early Language Development. It's really exciting to have everyone here. This webinar is part 2 of our reading series, and there will be a focus on telling and reading stories to children, which is critical. It's critical for the child's development, and so we hope that you're able to take away some strategies from this today. This two-part series was based on the Reading for Children programme, which is the Education Board's flagship programme that focuses on the importance of reading and everyday activities within a child's development. I will be speaking a little bit more about this towards the end of the webinar. I just wanted to take this opportunity to just say Head Start is a fantastic resource that we've got, and I urge you to have a look at what's available, including the recordings of past webinars. There's also free training courses. This webinar itself will be recorded and stored on Head Start. So as well as early years resources, there's also resources for all other age groups. And the address is there on the slide. So today we are really lucky to have such a great team with us. Djemilla and Rehana you've met already. They did the first webinar and they both have experience of early childhood development. Djemilla has over 25 years experience of working with children, whilst Rehana has both international development experience within education and also has previously served on the Education Board with a responsibility for early years. Also joining us today is Dr. Gulzar Kanji, who also is an experienced early childhood practitioner. She has experience as a head teacher also, as well as this with Ofsted, UNICEF and Oxford University developing educational programs. She's currently working with us to help develop the strategy for early childhood development. Without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Rehana to tell you a little bit more about the webinar today.
Yali everyone, and welcome to the second webinar in our Early Language and Literacy Development series. In our first webinar, we learnt why early language and literacy development is so important for children. It helps to prepare them for school and perform better once they're at school. And these positive effects continue as they grow into adults. We talked about the important role that you as parents and caregivers have in shaping your children's language and literacy. We gave examples of how you can enhance their development through what you are already doing in your everyday routines, through your conversations, songs, rhymes, and playing with your children. Today, in webinar 2, we are going to focus on telling and reading stories and how you can make this an enjoyable and language-rich experience for your children. This is a topic that we are all really enthusiastic about, and we know that many of you share this passion too. As Gulzar so beautifully put it, stories are the stuff we are made of. Storytelling. There is a real power and magic that stories bring us. Throughout time, all societies have used stories to make sense of their experiences. Oral stories, those that are shared verbally, have been passed down through the generations. I'm sure that you can recall tales that you have heard from family and friends about real and imaginary events. As parents and caregivers, you can continue this tradition. You can share stories that you already know, or make up your own stories to tell children. And once children are able, they can join in and make up stories with you. You can also read books with your children, and it's on this topic that we will be focusing most of our attention today. We are fortunate to have a diverse Jamaat, and on this webinar, I'm sure that between us we have at least 5 different languages that we speak, if not more. Early years experts encourage parents and caregivers for whom English is not their first language to speak to their children in their home language, also called mother tongue or first language. This could be Farsi, Gujarati, Hindi, Urdu, Arabic, or Portuguese. By speaking in your home language with your child, you will help to preserve and pass down your culture. Also, children who develop good language skills in their home language can learn English and any other languages more easily too. They will pick up English quickly in nursery, in school, through their friends. Being bilingual has many benefits for children. For more information on this, you can refer to the recording and resources of Webinar 1. So we encourage you to tell and read stories in your home language to children. There are many books that are written in 2 languages, called dual language books. I have one here in Gujarati and English, The Fisherman and the Cat. You can see the English on this side here and the Gujarati on this side. And we will see more of these types of books later in the webinar too. So why is reading with children important? It promotes brain development. A newborn baby has all of the brain cells, the neurons, that they'll have for the rest of their life, but it's the connections between these cells that really make the brain work. These connections help us to move, think, communicate. The early years are really important for making these connections that will last for a lifetime. Parents and caregivers who give attention to, respond to, and interact with their child are literally building their child's brain. That's why it's so important to talk, sing, read, and play with young children from the day they are born. Reading develops concentration, imagination, and creativity. Telling and reading stories gives children material with which to imagine, transporting them into another time and space. Language and literacy. Reading is part of the foundation for language and literacy, together with songs, poems, listening, and speaking. Through stories, children learn new vocabulary and how to construct sentences to be able to express themselves. Reading also helps social and emotional development. Through characters in a story, children learn about feelings and how to cope with different emotions. They learn ethical values and about culture and traditions. They help children learn to solve problems and build up their strength and resilience to overcome difficult situations. Reading also enhances knowledge and understanding of the world. Stories help children to understand the people and environment around them, as well as the world at large, with its different countries and cultures. Reading also helps children to be ready for school and to perform better at school. Research has shown that children who have been exposed to books and have been read to from an early age do better in school than those children who have not had those opportunities. Once in school, reading books helps children to reinforce what they are learning at school. Lastly, time spent reading together strengthens relationships and bonds between children and family members. Who can read with children? Everyone can. All caregivers, including mothers, fathers, and grandparents, other family members too, such as aunts, uncles, cousins, friends of family, and don't forget older children too. Just take a look at this clip of a child aged 4.5 and her sister aged 4 months old, which has kindly been shared by their mother.
The new small person. Elmore Green started off life as an only child, as many children do. He had a room all to himself and everything in it was his. He was very proud of his room. He watched all his favourite cartoons on his own little TV set. No one ever changed the channel. He could line up all his precious things on the floor and no one moved them 1 millimetre.
It was a lovely demonstration of an older sibling, sister, reading a story to her baby sister, and the baby sister was hanging on to every word that her older sister was reading. The video shows that all of us, younger and older, can get involved in reading with children. Another important point to bear in mind is that you are your child's role model. They are watching and absorbing everything you do. If we as parents and caregivers are reading books, newspapers, magazines, recipes, and enjoying them, then our children will want to do the same too. If, on the other hand, we are always reaching for our mobile phone or the TV remote, then our children will pick up that behavior instead. From a young age, children will pick up a book and babble, pretending to read, even if their words are not fully formed. When they're older and can articulate words but not read, they often pretend that they are reading, making up words and sentences, and turning the pages as their tale unfolds. Encourage them to do this. This shows that they are enjoying books, and hopefully books will become their lifelong friends. I'll hand over to Djemilla now.
Thank you, Rehana. Yalimadat, everyone. So, when and where to read with children? It is never too early to start reading to your child. Begin from birth. An adult or a sibling, as we have seen in the last slide, can read to your child anytime. Carry a book with you when you're out and about. Make stories part of your daily routine. At a relaxed and quiet time, make it a special time for you and your child. Choose a quiet, comfortable space, maybe with cozy cushions, and spend that time with your child. Put phones away. Turn off the TV and the radio. Avoid any distractions. Bedtime stories are very important because they create a feeling of security and love. They make happy memories to carry when we are older. We now come to technology and language development. Technology is an integral part of our lives today. Children are exposed to technology from birth. Children see parents taking pictures, talking on the phone, or working on the computer, and they'll imitate these actions. But too much screen time, this includes television, phones, tablets, electronic games, or the computer, it's all very harmful to children's development. It is linked to problems in children's attention span, their behavior, and language development. General recommendations are for screen time for children in the early years, to avoid all digital media from birth until your child is 18 months old. Between 18 months and 24 months, children can watch up to half an hour, but with an adult. For 2 to 5-year-olds, parents should limit screen time to 1 hour. Using technology wisely will enhance development. Use it as a tool for learning and play, and not a replacement of child and adult interactions. Human relationships are very important in language development. Watch together with your child and provide words for the people and objects that you can see on the screen. Make connections to everyday life from what you're watching. Balance with other activities like playing outdoors, construction toys, puzzles, art and craft activities, and Play-Doh. What books to read with your child? Be guided by your child. Let your child choose. Follow their interests. First books can be chunky board books, soft fabric books, vinyl bath books. They need to be durable because they will go in the mouth. Simple picture books with very few words per page would be relevant. Nursery rhymes, songs, lullabies, which can be sung together, would be good too. As your child grows up, add interactive books, like touch and feel books, books with flaps to lift and push or pull. Books with colorful illustrations will encourage language interactions. large text in short, simple sentences per page. Simple stories with repeating words, rhymes, and phrases. Children like to revisit the books that they were read to when they were little. So let them. Older children can be introduced to books with paper pages, as well as ebooks and audiobooks. An engaging plot with humor, rhymes, good illustrations will keep your child entertained for a good length of time. And books for older children could have more text, for example, 1 or 2 paragraphs per page, or even more, depending on your child's attention. I'll now hand back to Rehana.
Thank you, Djemilla. So what can children learn from books? Books can teach basic life skills like brushing your teeth. I Want My Potty, which you can see on the slide, is a fun, informative book about a little princess and her potty training. You can read this with your child to help with their potty training. As we heard earlier, books can help children deal with their feelings. Right now, we are living in the time of the coronavirus pandemic. This has understandably created anxiety in both parents and children, and this is normal. We know that you as parents are doing the best you can under difficult circumstances. There are resources available to provide support at this time, which we've included on the final slides. And books can be a part of this process. You'll see one of the book covers on this slide is called Don't Worry, Little Bear, a book created by an independent author to help children understand coronavirus and deal with the fear and uncertainty that it brings. Again, there is a link to a free online version of the book in the final slides. Books can be used to help children anticipate and celebrate milestones, such as starting school, or festivals, such as Eid, which is coming up. Books can help teach children ethical values and embrace the rich diversity of people and cultures that we have in society. The book, Through the Eyes of Us, that you see on the slide, is written from the perspective of 2 autistic children. And this book I have here, called We Are the Groovicorns, is a story about valuing difference. It's a spin on unicorns, which many children adore. It tells the story of groovicorns who look different from the unicorns. They are multicolored, they behave differently, and they don't have the magic powers that the unicorns have. The groovicorns feel that the unicorns look down on them because they are different. But by the end of the story, we learn that the unicorns actually want to be the groovicorns' friends, and they form a loving friendship. The story ends, everyone is different, but special in their way. So let's learn from one another and have more fun every day. Lastly, books can teach children about our world. There are both fiction and non-fiction books that teach children about issues such as poverty and climate change. Linking back to ethics, through these books, they can learn about good deeds and helping those in need. They can learn to care for their environment by not wasting water, for example, or helping their parents to recycle plastic. And there are many books on other countries and cultures. Handa's Surprise, also on the slide, is a wonderful book, and it's set in a Kenyan village. The version on the slide is actually a dual language book written in Farsi and English. A few years back, our Tariqa board compiled a list of books for children aged 0 to 5 plus called Kitab for Kids. The list includes books such as The Soul Bird on the theme of spirituality and Why Elephant Has a Trunk on the themes of appreciation and celebrating diversity. The titles are not visible here, but we will provide them in a separate document by email. I'll hand over to Gulzar now.
Thank you, Rehana. Yali Madad. I'm going to talk to you about how to read aloud to your children. Reading together can be a very enjoyable experience if adults make the story come alive. So here are some tips. It is important that you know your book. Familiarize yourself with the content before you read to the child. Connect it with your child's experiences. Remember, the first reading is different from subsequent readings, because in the first reading, there is the anticipation, there is curiosity. What will happen next, wonders the child. Introduce the book, talk about the title, the cover picture, and the author. Encourage the child to comment, share thoughts, turn pages, lead the way, and dramatize the story. Vary your voice, expression, tone. Use gestures. Ask open-ended questions, beginning with how or why or what do you think? And be patient. Praise knowledge and acknowledge the child's efforts. And importantly, have fun together, enjoy reading. Here are some techniques on the reading aloud journey. We start with babies. We know that babies feel comforted by the sound of the voice in the womb. Obviously, it is the mother's, and they recognize their mother's voice soon after birth. Babies also feel comforted by being held and cuddled. It's wonderful for babies to hear your voice, but we also like to be cuddled and read to. So it is very important that you cuddle your children, you set them in your laps so that they can hear the story as well as feel your warmth. As soon as they discover the book, babies put them in their mouths, as Djemilla told us. That's why we have cloth books. And if they put them in their mouths, it does not matter really. Here I'm going to show you a cloth book, which is The Hungry Caterpillar. And you can read it and the babies can happily put it in their mouths. There is also a vinyl book, which you can use in the bath, and the babies would enjoy the bath and so hear squeaks and sounds and so on. And there are lovely pictures, so babies can begin to recognize those pictures. Is milk, mother's milk, or milk babies drink, is for the physical growth, but books and stories are brain food. It's very important that the brain gets the nourishment it requires. Now we come to the growing child. As they learn words and sounds, encourage them to say jingles, complete phrases and rhymes. For example, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And encourage children to tell and retell stories, ask questions, and help them to ask too. Relate the story to their experiences. Discuss the story and help children make meaning out of it. Book language enriches language development because children don't hear book language in our day-to-day conversation. But if you read stories, then the book language makes it much, much richer. I could just quickly read a sentence from one of the books that I showed you earlier, and it is The Hungry Caterpillar. The very first sentence, if I could show you, it says, in the light of the moon lay an egg. Or phrases like once upon a time, long ago, all those phrases come from books. So book language makes children's language development much, much richer. A little bit about phonics. Babies learn language from sounds. The first thing they hear is mother's voice, parents' voice, and so on. The words don't make any sense to them, but the sounds they retain in their heads and they remember them. So it's very important, so far as phonics are concerned, that you sing alphabet song with them. You also learn games, play games like I Spy, or you may be going out and the child would say, oh, look at that, M is for McDonald's. But leave the formal teaching to the teachers, because the teachers teach in a more complex way and they have a particular method and an approach. So when children go to school, you can talk to the teachers and find out how you can help your child at home with the methodology that is being used in the classroom, in the school. So now I'm going to model reading a story aloud. So I hope you're all ready to listen to a story. I've chosen a story that you probably already know and you are familiar with it. You can use it for a 2-year-old, you can use it for a 3, 4-year-old. Children enjoy all kinds of stories, simple ones and complex ones. So when I start modeling, I'm going to ask Rehana and Djemilla to be my little girls, 3-year-olds, 3, 3.5. And when I read the story, they will respond to the story. So keep all the techniques and the tips we gave you in your mind and try to work out which ones we are using. So now they have not seen this book before. So I'm going to share this book for the first time with my 3-year-old girls. So here is the book. Right, Rehana and Djemilla, are you ready?
Yes.
Yes, lovely. You just finished your tea, and you know what? I am going to read you a book, and it's a new book. And do you know what it is called? Dear Zoo. Can you see? Dear Zoo. So this is the book I'm going to read to you. Now, what do you think you find in a zoo?
Animals.
Animals, yeah. And what kind of animals? Can you name any of them? Djemilla, can you name one?
A panda.
A panda? Yes, you might find a panda there. What about you, Rehana? Does any animal come to your mind?
Penguin.
Oh, penguin. Yes, you might see loads and loads of penguins. Any other animal that comes to your mind? A big, heavy, chunky animal.
Hippo.
Hippo, that's right. So there are many, many animals in the zoo. Now, this is a story about a little girl who wanted a pet, a little animal that she could have at home as a friend. So she decided to write to the zoo. Perhaps they might send her an animal, a little animal that could stay with her, give her friendship and companionship. So let's see what happens, because this is a story about the little girl writing a letter to the zoo. So I'm going to show it to you. But before that, can you look at the picture in the front here? What can you see there? Can you see any animal?
Yes, there is an animal in the cage.
There is an animal in the cage. Djemilla, what animal is it? Can you guess?
It looks like a cat.
It is a cat, but it's a very fierce cat. It roars.
Oh.
Lion.
Lion. Thank you, Rehana. It is a lion, and I'll show it to you later on. And this book is written by Rod Campbell. But you know what? You too can write stories. Maybe when we finish this story, we might spend some time making up our own. So are you ready? There you are. So we are going to read it then. I wrote to the zoo to send me a pet, and they sent me a, can you see a great big crate there?
Yes.
So it's a big crate and there is a big animal inside. He was very big. Can you guess what might be the very big animal? Rehana, do you want to guess?
Is it the hippo?
It could be a hippo. Would you like to open the crate?
Yes, yes, yes.
What is it?
And what is it? Oh, it's an elephant.
It's an elephant. Even elephant is very big, isn't it? Elephants can be as big as hippos or even bigger, perhaps.
And grey like hippo.
And grey, yes, very grey. Now, can this little girl keep this elephant in the house?
No,
No, it's too
big.
big. It's too big. So he was too big. I sent him back. So the animal was sent back. Now, so the zoo, they sent me another very tall crate. And there is an animal in the crate. Can you see it, Djemilla?
Yes, I can see a head on top of the crate.
Oh, so can you guess what animal it is?
Is it a giraffe?
Wow. Would you like to open it and see whether it is a giraffe? Oh, look at this. You are right. It is a giraffe. A very tall giraffe. So you are right. So can the little girl keep the giraffe?
No.
No, it's too tall, isn't it? It's too tall. So he was too tall. I sent him back. She sent him back. So now, so they sent me a, I hope you can see it. They sent me a, can you see the crate?
Is it the lion again?
Oh, yes, Rehana. Now, can I have a turn to open it?
Yes, please.
Thank you. What is it?
A lion.
A fierce lion. Can we growl together? Come on, growl. 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 Djemilla isn't growling. Djemilla, growl, growl.
Growl.
So the lion was too fierce. So what did the little girl do?
She sent him back.
She sent him back. So they sent me another crate. Now I wonder who is in that crate. Rehana, do you think you might guess? See?
It looks like a horse.
It looks like a horse. You're quite right. A little bit like a horse, but it doesn't have, its ears are different, but I'll give you a clue. It has got a hump.
Oh, camel.
Is it a camel? Would you like to open it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay, open it. Can you see the camel?
Yeah.
Can you see the hump?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So where do you find camels really? Any idea where the camels might be?
Somewhere hot.
Yeah, well, camels, we don't see camels here in London, do we? Where would we see a camel in London?
In the zoo.
In the zoo. So we could, if we go to the zoo, we'll surely look out for a camel. Otherwise, it's known as the animal of the desert because they're very good, very, very good at walking in the sand, and they retain a lot of water. Maybe we'll find a story about a camel. So anyway, he was too grumpy. So what did she do? I sent him back. So now they sent me a, can you see a little, lovely little basket there with a cover? It's small and we can't see it, so I might give you a clue. It hisses, and it slithers. It slithers. Can you think about it?
It's a snake.
Is it? Shall we open it? Would you like to open it? What is it?
It's a snake.
It is a snake. You are so right. Wonderful. Now, can she keep the snake?
No.
Oh, because it's too scary and it might bite somebody. So she sent him back. So they sent me a, oh, now it's a little box, but there's somebody somebody's head is popping out there. Can you see? Rehana, can you see it?
Yeah, yeah.
And Djemilla, what do you think it is, Djemilla? It jumps up and down a lot, and it can be very naughty, and it loves bananas.
A monkey.
A monkey. Would you like to open it? Is it a monkey?
Yes, it's a monkey.
Yes, lovely. It's a monkey eating a banana. Now, can she keep the monkey?
No.
No. Why can't she keep the monkey? Shall we find out what she said? She said he was too naughty. And monkeys like to live in the trees and in the woods. And so she thought that was not the right animal for her. So they sent me now it's a very tiny box, Rehana, and we can't see anything. So I have to give you a clue.
Mm-hmm.
It's very jumpy. And it goes croak, croak, croak.
A frog.
Oh, wonder if it is a frog.
Yeah.
Would you like to open it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. There you are. So right, it is a frog. It's a frog now. Can she keep the frog?
No.
So why can't she keep the frog, Rehana?
Frogs like to live in water.
Yes, they like to live in the water, don't they? So do you think this girl is ever going to find a pet that she likes? What do you think is going to happen? Do you want to guess?
I hope she
Did she
finds
get
one.
some? Yeah, go on, Rehana.
I hope she finds a small one, a small animal.
Yeah, shall we find out whether she got a small animal? Okay, so he was too jumpy, so I sent him back. So the zoo, they thought very, very hard. And they sent me a, look at this basket here. And there is something inside it. And she says, it was perfect. I wonder what the perfect pet is in here. Shall I give you a clue? Because we can't see it, so I'll give you a clue. It goes, now how shall I put it? Woof, 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 woof. Yep, 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 yep. And you can take him on. Go on, Djemilla.
It's a doggy.
Is it a doggy? Rehana, do you think it's a doggy?
Yeah, yeah, doggy.
Okay, both of you can open it then. Ready? Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Okay, open your eyes. Have a look. What is it?
Yeah, doggy.
It's a doggy, and a little baby is called a puppy. It's a little puppy.
Puppy.
Yeah, and she said he was perfect. I kept him. Now, how do you think the little girl felt when she got her puppy?
Happy.
Happy? What do you think, Rehana?
Really happy, yeah.
Really happy. So she was happy. She was excited, yes, and she was jumping for joy. And now, just a little bit. How do you think she will look after the puppy? What will she have to do to look after the puppy?
She will give him food.
Yes, give him food, that's right. What else would she have to do?
Give him a bath.
Give him a bath, yes. And
Give him medicine.
medicine, yes. He might need medicine, you know, like vaccination, so that he remains healthy. And where would he sleep? What would she have to do for sleeping, for the puppy to sleep? Will she make a
Basket.
A basket? That's right. And what about his exercise? How will she take him for an exercise?
They'll go outside in the park.
Oh, lovely. She'll take him out in the park, and then she can cuddle him and love him, and he'll be her friend. Did you like the story?
Yes.
What did you like best about it?
The end.
The end, because she was
Happy.
happy. Thank you very much for listening. And I tell you what we can do. Later on, you can make up a story and you can choose the animals you want to put in the story. And I remembered another thing. Do you know you got a basket of animals? So you could make a zoo and you can then choose animals and see which animal are fierce or which animals are jumpy or which animals are, live in the water and so on. So you can play a game as well. Love, you listen to it so beautifully. So I'm going to put this book by your bedside and you can look at it and read it and then think about making up your own story. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you enjoyed the story. So I just want to say to the listeners that dramatizing the story is very, very important because you bring the story alive and also you make it interactive so that the children who are listening are very involved and they can have their own ideas that they can share with you and enrich the story. So always try to link the book with their experiences. And if you have taken them to the zoo, then obviously they will recount the experiences from the zoo and discuss the story, reflect on the meaning, and also think about what we learned. So I'm hoping that by reading that story, we're helping children to learn about how to care for animals, look after them, love them, and make sure that they are happy. I will now hand over to Rehana. Thank you, Rehana.
Thank you, Gulzar. I'm now back to my adult self. As well as reading, what else can you do to develop a love of stories and books in children? Once, inshallah, we return to normal life and no restriction measures are in place, you will be able to visit libraries with your children. Join the local library in your community and use it to borrow books and also take part in activities it offers, such as storytime sessions. Many Jamaat Khanas and Beit al-Ilms have children's libraries too. At North London Jamaat Khana, we have the Book Buddies Den, run by our very own Gulzar, and West London Jamaat Khana also has an active adult and children's library with storytime sessions. You can also exchange books with other families and gift books as presents. The British Library often has exhibitions on children's literature. Earlier in the year, I took my young nephews to one. It was one that celebrated the good rebels in children's literature, the characters who stood up for what they believed in and broke away from convention for the greater good, such as Matilda, written by Roald Dahl. World Book Day occurs every year, usually in March. It has been designated by UNESCO as a worldwide celebration of books and reading. Nurseries and schools run a number of activities on this day, including asking children to come dressed up as their favorite book characters. There's a link to the World Book Day website on the resources slide at the end, which includes free audiobooks. This month of May is also National Share a Story Month, and the theme this month is The Planet We Share. Again, there's a link on the resources slide with more information. Many authors also run storytime sessions online. One of our favorites is Michael Rosen, who wrote We're Going on a Bear Hunt. In the resources, we've included a video with reading tips from Michael, who is a really expressive and engaging reader. You'll also see famous faces running storytime sessions, such as Michelle Obama. Book Trust, a children's reading charity, has a page set up with lots of fun activities with authors and illustrators for parents and children to do at home during lockdown. Take a look on the resources slide. You can also make up stories together with your children. You could involve their favorite toy, for example, and create a story about Teddy's day out. You can say one line in the plot, and encourage your child to say the next and take it in turns until you have a full story. In this current time, you can even do this online through a video call. Why not get grandparents involved in sharing their stories or creating new ones with your children? You can write these stories down in your own homemade books. Making books with your child is a fun activity. There are simple books you can make. This is a zigzag book, which I've made just folding an A4 sheet of paper. You can get your child involved in the folding of the book, in the sticking stickers or embellishments such as this pineapple, drawing pictures, or writing once they are able to. Or older siblings can get involved in and play this with the younger children. So the older children will be doing the writing and the younger children will be doing the drawing. Other bookmaking examples are on the Love My Books website at the end under Make and Do. Do take a look at this website. It has so much to offer. You can also make masks, finger or stick puppets with your children. These masks or puppets can be the characters in a story, and you can use them as props when telling the story. I'll hand over to Djemilla now to show you how you can do this with puppets, and then to wrap up.
So we have a story called Owl Babies. And you can see over here, there are 3 white owls. They are the baby owls. And the story goes, one night they woke up and their owl mother was gone. Where's mommy? Said Sarah. So here is my little owl puppet. This is one I've made myself. And it's going, where's mommy? asked Sarah. Oh my goodness, said Percy. There's another one, a little smaller. Oh my goodness, said Percy. And the littlest one's Bill said, I want my mummy. So we have, it just brings that extra dimension to storytelling. Thank you, Rehana. So to conclude, thank you, Rehana. Enjoy the magic and power of stories. It is very important to tell stories to your children. Stories develop language skills. They transport children to another world. Stories empower children to make meaning of their own experiences and cope with fears and problems. Through stories, children develop cultural identity and learn about family traditions. So, together with your child, enjoy the magic and power of stories. Thank you. Back to Rehana.
Thank you. We're now going to take some questions that have come in from parents. The first, my child is not interested in reading books. She just wants to play with the iPad. How can I get her interested in books? Djemilla? Thank
you, Rehana. So if the child is only interested in an iPad, why do you not read a story to your child from the iPad? Make it as part of your story time routine, reading from the iPad. But also make puppets like I've just shown you. Make puppets, make props to introduce a new element to a storybook. And that way your child will get interested. Then guide your child to act out the story as you read it. Negotiate so you read one story together before your child can have the allocated time on the iPad. Set boundaries with your child for how much time they are on the iPad and then keep them. I hope I've answered your question. Rehana?
Thank you. The second question, I can't find books in my home language. What should I do? Gulzar?
Thank you, Rehana. I think this is a very challenging issue for all parents because it's not easy to find many bilingual books. However, there are books that are available, and I'm sure, Rehana, you're providing some details about the books. I would like to show you some. I read you the Dear Zoo, which is in English and also in Gujarati. Rehana, you already showed them a couple of books. So here is a book in English and Gujarati. I got other books. Here is The Leopard's Drum, which is in English and Urdu. And another one, this is called Lima's Red Hot Chili, which is in Bangla and also in English. So there are many more books, and I think Rehana is giving you the resources. I think it's Mantra Lingua who publish all these books. However, books can be also very expensive and difficult to get sometimes. So what can you do to get over this problem? You see, if you have a book like Dear Zoo, what you could do is, if it is only in English, what you could do is to write in your own language. Could be Urdu, could be Farsi, could be Portuguese, could be Spanish, and you stick it there. You can even write it on a masking tape and put it there so that the child has dual language books. And that is one of the easiest and quickest way to do it. The other thing is, when you are telling stories, you can tell bilingually, so the children's home language and also English, both of them get strengthened. And then you can write the stories you are telling in like a zigzag book that Rehana was showing, or taking some papers, making up little books and writing them and getting the children to illustrate. And in fact, I wanted to share with you that Rabia and I had the opportunity to go to Essen in Germany, where we were running the program Reading for Children. And in fact, many of the parents there spoke Farsi, and Afghani parents also would be speaking either Pashto, Farsi, or Arabic. And in fact, we got quite a few books for the program, and we had helpers who were able to stick writing in a different language and make them dual language books. So that would be quite easily possible. Even a book like Hungry Caterpillar, you can also do the same. Stick the sentences in your own language. And the last thing I wanted to say to you is that these books, whether it's Hungry Caterpillar or The Zoo, you can read them to babies or 2-year-olds or 5-year-olds, and use dual language. Please don't lose the home language, because the children get cut off from the culture, and it's very, very important that they are able to speak and retain another language, because that is our first language quite often. So thank you, Rehana.
Thank you so much. We've had a few other questions come in on the chat. If we don't get a chance to answer them in this session, we will definitely take them offline and send some email responses. Just to quickly show you then the resources slide that we have compiled. There's a mix of reading tips, access to online books, and activity ideas. So do take a little browse and have a little peek at some of those resources when you have the time. I'll pass back to Rabia, and if we have time at the end, we'll take some of those questions that you've sent through on the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you so much to Gulzar, to Rehana, to Djemilla for giving us such wonderful strategies. And it was so great to see that reading demonstration as well. I think there's something there that everyone can take something away and try at home. So that's really, really great. Just to follow up with what Rehana was saying, on the slide at the moment, there is support available, and just wanted to highlight just so that everyone had those details. So there's the Corona Support helpline that you can see the times are open, and the email address there and the telephone number that you can ring. That's always open there, whether it's for early childhood development, questions or issues or anything else. So it's a really, really good resource to use. So if there is anything, please do reach out to us. Our email address is there as well, akeb@iiuk.org. And so if there is anything, any questions, Rehana did mention that there's some great questions that have come in. I've had a look at those as well. I think we're not going to have enough time to answer them today, but I do recognize that everyone wants those answers. So we'll share them with the team afterwards and hopefully send those out to you by email. I just wanted to really quickly mention the Reading for Children program that we've mentioned a couple of times now, and I know Gulzar mentioned it as well. And I'm just going to talk through quickly about that and then explain a little bit more about Head Start. So you can see some pictures on the screen there, and that is from the Reading for Children program that we ran in Essen, as Gulzar was saying, and it was a really, really successful initiative and something that we hope to bring to the UK. The Reading for Children program was originally developed by the Aga Khan Foundation, and it consists of 5 two-hour sessions and goes straight to the heart of the central issue of enabling children to become skilled readers and communicators, as well as empowering parents to involve children in their daily routines and talking and listening to them to enrich their language and building their confidence. We really hope that from these last 2 webinars, you felt some of that coming through. We've covered a lot of what we would be doing in the Reading for Children program, but it's just a taster. So we really hope you can join us for the program when it's able to run after lockdown. I wanted to say, if it's something that you're interested in and you would like to attend, it would be really great if you just emailed us and we can make sure we register you for the program and just let you know when we are running it. So we would love to hear from you, and the email address is there on the slide. So just quickly, just to mention on Head Start as well, we have had a few questions on where to find things. So I just wanted to make sure that it was really easy and simple for you to access. The website is there at the top. If you want to access the resources that are already there for 0 to 5-year-olds, you can access them in the green bar under ECED. And if you click on that, there'll be PDFs, and you can see them. That's the background picture there. There'll be PDFs there, resources, any of the PowerPoints that we've been sharing through the webinars as well. To access the webinar videos, if you go to the home page, if you scroll right to the bottom, all the videos that we've been doing during this period are there. If there are any questions, if you're not able to find anything, do email us and I'll try and make sure that we send you the information as soon as we can. I am aware that, you know, there are probably a lot of questions around going back to school for reception, for year 1, for year 6 as well. So just wanted to highlight that we're going to be doing a webinar, a Q&A session on the 31st of May. And that will be an opportunity for parents to ask any questions, voice any concerns, and hopefully we'll be able to share our own experiences from schools and let you have that support and the resources that you need to make sure you're ready if you choose to go back to school. I just wanted to mention as well, we were meant to be running another webinar on that date, but we've now changed it just because of the circumstances. And the creative curriculum webinar that was due to be running on that date will now be on the 7th of June. So the details are there. We'll put them in the chat just now. So if you do want to register for them, you're more than welcome. Or if you know anyone else who might want to attend. So I am just going to finish off now. I know we've just run a little bit over time. Thank you so much for sharing this webinar with us, for listening. I know that there are questions that we haven't been able to answer, so we will get back to you as soon as we can. We are sending out a feedback survey after this webinar. The link is there. We would love to hear from you, just to understand how the webinar was for you, if you'd like to see more interactive reading sessions, if there's any topics that we could cover. Really, really useful for us to know so that we can make sure that we are giving you those resources in the future. So the survey link is there in the chat at the moment, so you can click on that and do that directly. It should only take you 1 to 2 minutes, hopefully. Thank you. So without further ado, once again, a big thank you to our speakers today. Thank you so much for sharing your time, your knowledge, and all those wonderful strategies, and hopefully those can be used at home by everyone that's listening today. And thank you to our audience who have joined us. We do recognize that it's your Wednesday evening, and we really, really hope that you found it useful. Thank you, Yali Madat. Stay safe and well.